Hi everyone, today we are diving into one of the most iconic and, let's be honest, most annoying teams in AFK Arena, the Orthros and Liberta comp. If you're trying to improve your Nightmare corridor time, this video will surely help you. Today I'll explain how the comp works, why it is a headache to set up, and the exact investments you're gonna need for the current Blighted Seraph round, which is the second NC round. The goal of this team is simple, infinite time stop. Basically, Liberta acts as a battery feeding massive amounts of energy to Orthros. Orthros then spam his ultimate to freeze the game timer, while your main damage dealer, in this case Marcil, will keep hitting the boss, allowing us to get the really small kill time. How does Liberta works? His second skill, Bless, gives orbs to the lowest health ally. Those orbs will give energy. His first skill, take back those orbs, giving another bunch of energy to the ally, and then he will give back the orbs and re-giving energy. So basically, he's a battery that gives a lot of energy to the lowest health ally. Now, how does Orthros works? Orthros ultimate will just do one thing, freeze time. It will freeze everything but himself, that means the enemies, your allies, and the timer. So as you can see, no one can move except him, and the timer is froze. But thanks to his 3-piece furniture, you can bypass this restriction and allow the ally with the highest combat rating to move too. With the 9-piece furniture effect, they get a 35 health buff. While the boss is frozen, your carry can deal 3 damage and kill the boss easily thanks to that. During the fight, Orthros will continually increase his max health thanks to his 4th skill, Celestial Vigor. This synergy here is a perfect time cheese. We use Liberta to feed infinite energy to Orthros, so he can keep spamming his ultimates as often as possible. This keeps the in-game timer frozen for the majority of the fight, allowing you Marcil to kill the boss while the clock barely moves. On paper this looks pretty simple, but there is several conditions we need to meet in order for this comp to work. We need Orthros to have the lowest HP at all time, we need Marcil to have the highest combat rating, and we need to adjust the haste stat of our heroes to have them move in a particular order. First, let's talk about investments. This comp uses Liberta, Laios, Orthros, Palmer and Marcil, and let's go over the build required for each of these heroes. Liberta will need a 40 signature item, and while he doesn't use his 9-piece furniture effect, we want a lot of furniture dupes to have him at a high haste. So this is the dupes, and we want a max dupes for the middle row and the bottom row, because it both gives haste, as you can see here. We can get a decent time without a max haste dupe Liberta, but it will be very unstable and probably a bit slower. In terms of engravings, we want at least E62, I think, because we want additional upgrades in the haste node. Laios, the minimum build is signature item 30, furniture effect does not matter, but we want the stats from the furniture, and we want E30. Orthros, we want to keep him as small as possible, that means ascended with no stars, signature item 20 at max, 9 furniture and no engravings. There is a case where you could add a star to Orthros and buy the haste nodes if you needed to adjust haste correctly, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you know what you are doing, because it can mess with the HP balance of the team. So Palmer needs his basic build of signature item 20, 9 furniture and 60 engravings. And Marcil needs to be as big as you can afford it. That means signature item 40, 9 furniture with dupes for additional offensive stats, engravings at least E60. I personally have her at E67 with additional nodes in attack, crit chance and crit damage amplification. Additionally, investing more into Laios by giving him E60 or even SI40 allows you to make the comp work with a smaller Marcil. In terms of collection, we want really specific collection for certain heroes. So, for example, Liberta needs a +2 Volt with full attack. It can also work with some variation like crit Volt or crit damage amplification Volt. Laios will take a full attack stack, it doesn't matter the collection, the type of the collection. I don't have a full attack Volt somehow because I missed, I put the wrong one in, but as you can see it doesn't really matter for Laios, but the full attack one is the best in slot. So, Orthros need a +0 watch, it's very important that you keep it at +0. We don't want the +1 effect, it can mess with the comp. And you want either a statless watch, that means no stat here, or full attack watch, like I have. But you don't want HP on this. It can mess with the balance of the comp, so you don't want any HP in the Orthros collection. Palmer needs a +2 bounty with full attack. You don't need MP stacks for this round, it doesn't matter at all. And Marcel want a +2 or +1 storm with attack, the bigger the better. Mine is okay, but the more attack you have, and if you have a +2, it will be even better. Now we can get to the annoying part, which is the haste manipulation and the HP setup. The HP setup is particularly tricky because Orthros has a skill that increases HP over time during the fight. So we're gonna need to be careful and have Orthros at a really small amount of HP, so that even though he gains HP during the fight, he will still stay as the lowest HP hero in the fight. So for that, to manipulate the haste and the HP, we can do two things. We can change the gears, as you can see I'm missing gears here, or we can mess with the Elder Tree, which is this. For the gear part, it's rather easy. We just remove every gear from Orthros except for the boots, because the boots gives haste and we will need to set up this. So the tree gives both HP and haste. So depending on the size of your tree, we are going to want to respect this split. We want mage, support and ranger to be around the same level, and we want them to be decently higher than the other branches. Tank should usually be our lowest, and the warrior should be above tank at all point. Because the warrior we have on our team is Laios, and we don't want Laios to have less HP than Orthros. So, the tank tree has different breakpoint where it gives haste. That's why you want to set your tank tree to very specific levels. Those levels can be 0, 32, 37, 47, 62, 77 or 102. You will choose your tank level based on the haste you need to reach for Orthros, and of course the size of your tree. If you have a max tree, you can skip this part, because you will have every branch at max anyway. And if your tree is too small to even reach one of the tank breakpoints while still having all the other branches at a higher level than tank, that means that it's too soon for you to be interested in this comp, and you will need to come back to this later. Okay, so let's talk about the setups. So this is my setups. The number you're seeing here are the haste value. So this is a pretty stable setup that I think 7.33 is the best time you can get on this round. And yeah, I have almost max haste at 85 haste Liberta. For this setup, I remove one of the furniture for him to have less combat rating than Marcel. My collection, my attack collection on Marcel is not that good, like I said, but it's still enough to kill the time, to kill the boss in a good time. This setup uses Liberta front. It's a better setup because the peak time is better, but the RNG is a bit heavier on this setup. The other setup you can use is with Liberta in the back and Orthros in the front. This is the main comp that you'll see most people using with these haste values. This is 7.58 peak, so that's a bit higher than mine, but it's still okay if you don't want to compete for like top 1 or close top 50. So this is another setup if your Liberta doesn't have max dupes. If you have like 81, so it's pretty close to max, but it's not that big yet. So you can use this. This can be used with the small tree too, so you can do it pretty easily. We can run also MP on Palmer, that works too for some people. CDA is an option if you don't have an attack call on Marcel, but I think attack is better. And of course you can use HP on people if you need to push their HP more for Orthros balance. Also you can use a statless watch, like here, like he doesn't have any stats on this watch, to have like a smaller Orthros. So this comp is a bit different than mine. It uses Liberta with a crit vault. We can say thank you to Renz for explaining it in the Nishi Discord. So why are we using a crit vault on Liberta? It's because this boss has a mechanic that will stop 2 allies from using their ultimate, and we want those allies to be Libera and Palmer. So Palmer is pretty much guaranteed to be locked, but the thing is sometimes Orthros can do more damage than Liberta at the start of the fight, so the boss will lock Orthros instead of Liberta. That is the thing we don't want. So we do offensive Volt on Libera for him to put more damage at the start of the fight, and so get locked by the boss. We can try different haste value for Libera, Orthros, and Palmer and Laios, sorry, but basically you have to play with that depending on your account. And for that you need to have your tank tree at least at 37. This is another setup that is with a small Libera. Like if you have 74, like it's almost no dupe in haste. This works for 8.82 at peak time, but it's very unstable. Like most of the time you'll get 10 or even 14. And for this last setup, this is a no dimensional for a small box. So if you don't have Marcel and Laios because you weren't there on the release, you can use this. It uses still Orthros Liberta combo, but with other units, as Nox and Jerome. You basically run HP on everyone except Orthros, of course, and full attack if you can, if you don't mess with the balance. But yeah, this won't get you a good time, but it will at least get you 30 seconds and a kill. So yeah, that's it for this one. Okay everyone, thank you for watching. This will be the end of my first video. If you liked it, subscribe, like and comment. It will brighten my day. And of course, see you on the next one.